The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Listen in as your host, Casey Colburn, brings together a perfectly picked panel of guests to discuss hot topics and events within the metaphysical and paranormal field. But don't worry, should the discussions get too heated, our studio's witch will sound her cackle to simmer the cauldron back down. Listen for new episodes of Cauldron Talk with Casey Colburn every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. only on Paranormal Buzz Radio. Good evening, listeners. It is Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and you're listening to Cauldron Talk with Casey Colburn, here on Paranormal Buzz Radio. I'm your host, Casey Colburn, and today we are welcoming to our circle Alonnie Milligan, Tim Shaw, and Billie Lindemuth. This is a special track about spiritual cleansing. So for cleansing, one of the things that I've been told numerous times in by spirit and dream state is that sage is losing its sacredness and therefore it's losing its power because of how it's being like mass produced now and it's not being harvested correctly. There's a lot that's going on that's wrong with it, and it's actually going like extinct, if you will, and so people are actually going into places that sell it and stealing sage, which is also not
cool.
Harvesting it right. But this and Palo Santo are two that are.
Yeah, Palo Santo's getting farmed. Oh, badly.
Yeah, I agree there.
Well, with the commercial stuff, I'm starting a class Thursday night, and one of the first things we're teaching them is, protection 101, grounding 101. And so the sage that I got, and I bless it all because it's been manhandled and not treated well and not blessed. And so you gotta. You take it and you fix it, and so before you give it to somebody, you fix it, and then it's gonna bring back some of its mojo. But you are absolutely right, because of the commercialization, this stuff is just being mass produced and not sacredly.
Mm-hmm. See, and
that's why.
Go ahead.
No, that's why I went back to frankincense, because of the frankincense, and I use cedar, because cedar I can go and I collect myself. And frankincense is something. Oh, I love it. I love it. You take it. You take it only if you leave an offering. You only take it from the east side of the tree. I love that. And
it's so nice in a sweat lodge. It's lovely to sit.
Oh yeah, it is. It really is.
It really is.
But too many people. It's everything is. I think that's one of my biggest bitches about. Unfortunately, like the psychic fairs and some of the shops, is commercially they're selling it, but they should be like perhaps trying to get people to use something different, But I mean, I guess what sells.
There's a lot of
Yep.
There's a lot of plastic shamans, and what that is people who are practicing all this that are, it's not anywhere with the sacredness or the actual spiritualism. It's just for money, so it's plastic or fake. And with that, we're seeing a lot of like plastic crystals that people are selling to you for hundreds of dollars, and or glass, and
I see a lot of glass coming out now.
Yeah, there's a lot of crap. There's a lot of crap.
No, there is. I agree with you.
On one level, I look at it as how great is it that there's such a want for all this that now, we're producing it more and more. But on the other end, it's like now we're losing all the sacredness. So
is that what humans do? I mean, look what we did to the dodo. This is what we do. We use it till it's gone, and then we say, "Oh, what happened? Oh, should we have waited? Oh, humans. Humans are pretty wild people."
Yeah. So one of the things that I suggest to people, which is my favorite spice to use in my craft, is cinnamon.
Oh, it's great.
I love it for grounding, and I love it for protection. And I think it's so underutilized, because when you tell people to use cinnamon, they think like in their tea or like on their toast. Like they don't think
Right.
metaphysically. So
Right, and real cinnamon, not the fake cinnamon coated sticks, or
Right.
the cinnamon you're gonna get that's like, you can get for $1 in the dollar store. That's not cinnamon. Real
Right.
cinnamon is a little different, and it works a whole lot better.
hmm So yeah, and that's my
think-
favorite. So
And in all honesty, let's face it, we all know what the truth is. The intent is the true the true catalyst of cleansing. And whether you use smoke or you use sound or whatever, or the Reiki, like Reiki, to clear a room, absenteeism, it'll work if the intent is correct. And that's
Yeah.
I think what I call the paper tigers out there, they buy sage and they run through the house saging everything. And they don't have the right intent, and that's what's sad about it. Because then they call you in to say, "Well, it didn't work," and and how can you teach? How can you sit somebody down and teach proper intent in like 5 minutes? It's pretty hard, but you
Yeah.
try.
yeah, my so one of the things that I do that I'm sure I've told probably all of you is that I learn things from spirit, and I just know things, and I'm like, okay, this is how I handle this. And actually, just the other day, I was being psychically attacked in my dream. And I woke up, and I didn't have, like, any of my sweetgrass or anything, like, right next to me where it usually is because everything was moved downstairs. But I had my candles. So I actually, like, smudged, if you will, using the flame of the candle. And I did the four
Right.
corners of my
Good.
bed.
Well done.
And it took care of
Exactly,
everything.
yeah.
So,
I like, what I do like that's worked for me is graveyard dirt. I have to say that I was not a big proponent of it. I really truly wasn't.
That's good stuff.
I'm one of those. Oh my God, yeah. It's like, my friend is telling me about it. I don't know. I'm not. I just like I'm a doubting Thomas on this one. And boy, oh boy, does that I definitely ate my words on that one.
Wow.
It's good stuff. It
I-
really is.
Yeah. Or
When
or
friends
holy
go
water.
That's I have a bone of contention with holy water, because so many people say to me, well, you can't make holy water because you're not, blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh yeah, watch me make holy water
Watch this.
and watch me use it, because it. Oh please.
But I love the seven. I love the seven. I like using the water from 7 churches, and to me, that's like a supercharged mixture. Well, it's even like Luis down at the Botanica here in the West Side. Before he lets you walk out with anything, that you buy, he sprays it down, he cleanses it, but he uses Florida water mixed with Hoyt's cologne.
Okay, Florida water's good stuff. Yeah.
And boy, I'll tell you what a difference. And I asked him about the cologne, and he says that gives it that allows the spirit to know that you really respect it, because cologne was so expensive back in the 16 and 1700s. So what you're doing is you're actually mixing it, and it's an offering. So I went, wow, let me try that. And sure enough, so I actually carry that in my kit bag now whenever I go to any kind of interesting haunting.
Oh, wow.
yeah, I usually, like, when I go to any place that I don't know, I'll bring Van, and I bring the black salt spray that I made, which is, I think I showed Alonnie the mixture, but it's like everything that could be in it is in it. And it works really, really well. The only thing is, because I use the Himalayan black salt, you have to filter out, otherwise it's going to smell like sulfur.
Oh, it does. Oh boy,
Yes.
does it. It does.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
I gave Danny a whole big
I
bottle
didn't-
of it. It stinks.
I didn't do it. I didn't do that one time. And people were like, is there a demon in this room? I thought,
Yeah.
oh my God, because all you could smell was that sulfur. I went, oh, I messed up on this one.
It works really well, but boy, it smells.
Yes, it does.
I'm happy that, we have such an awesome group here that's so passionate about all of the different parts of everything with us. So it's really cool.
It's what happens when you get 3 old witches together. That's what it is. have to make sure I pronounce it right with the W.
Thank you for joining my circle tonight. It was a pleasure to discuss this spooky topic with you, and a thank you to all my listeners for tuning in. And as always, dreadful dreams.